After you have realized who you are, realized it, your identity in Christ, what was given to man, your righteousness, you being made righteous, and you dictating your conduct with that information, not that information, not you trying to work it in your own effort. A lot for me changed when I realized I'm righteous. So now I'm not trying to do this stuff. I don't do it because he made me righteous. So that's a whole different approach to it. And assessment, once I have gotten who I am in my Creator, once I know who he has made me to be, and once I have assessed what he wanted for me and what his will for my life is, then I focus on that. All my energy, all my focus, all my attention should be given to, I'm already righteous. That's why I'm going to behave. I've assessed what God wants for me. I know what the will of God is for my life. I know what God would have for me. And so now that's where I lock in at. The last time we left off, we left off in Ephesians, but we'll get back to it. Now, it is very important. It is imperative that we fully understand and are aware of the processes that we take our mind through. I share with the young people all the time, and I find myself reminding them, we have come up in church. We have been churched. Most people have. So you've dealt with sin as it relates to your morality. But before there's any type of moral infraction, there is an idea that you embrace that fueled it. If I embrace the idea, and I said that the process that we take our mind through, because sometimes we don't take our mind through those processes. And I had to remind a young lady last week, baby, please don't be misunderstood, misinformed, and think that because all of your ideas are in the first person, that you originated. If I embrace the idea, Coolest ain't gonna never change. She ain't gonna never do this, she ain't gonna never do that. We ain't gonna never have this. That's when there's room, or I have given place to the devil, right? Amen. For a moral infraction. And that's where we've dealt with sin, after we've already made the mistake of believing something that God did not create us to be, or create us to have, or create us to experience. The Bible should always address human experience. In every incident, every episode, every story, you should be looking for and how you can connect with the experience there. And we looked at in Matthew 13:19 last time. And I like it from the New Living Translation, where it says, when you hear the word and you don't understand it, it says then, at that point, when you have not gotten understanding, at that point, the evil one comes. When you hear the word, you do not understand it, you don't have understanding in any area, then, that's what it says, the very next word, then, the evil one comes. And so often, like even today during service, everybody came to church today. Well, everybody came to church. Some people came to church, though, with life situations and their current experience on their mind and weighing heavy on what they're doing. And God, I need an answer right now. Brother Lee gave me, we were looking at Leroy Thompson, and he said, a lot of Christians pray from hell to heaven and not praying how God created us to pray. And we'll say, Lord, I'm getting whooped down here. Like Leroy Thompson said, so country. He's like, I'm getting whooped. I'm getting shown up, getting ate up. But that's usually when we come to church. By the time we give it to God, we on the brink of giving up. You know what I mean? So, because we have not fully understood that even today, we come in here, some people came with their problems. Some people came saying, somebody needs to be encouraged. I'm going to go and be a blessing. Because that's how Scripture advises us to come in Hebrews. And some people came with their mind set, though, to increase and to grow. And even though that you came here with your mind set, somebody in this place today, the Lord just told me, there was a lie, but somebody in here went into their work week. Somebody in here left and went into dinner. What we gonna eat? Who gonna win? What the game gonna be? And you didn't take your mind through that process, but it sounded like you, and you thought you did it. In most cases, that's how it happens. So in focus, that's why focus. I couldn't say it was the most important, but it's so very important. Let's start with the definitions. Let's start with the definition of focus. Focus, I have it here. A central point as of attraction, attention, or activity. What are you focused on? This is the noun form too. The noun form. A central point of attraction, a central point of attention, or a central point of activity. What is most of your energy used or directed toward? What consumes your thought? What consumes your time? Now focus in the verb is to concentrate, to focus one's thoughts. Today we're going to deal more so with our thoughts. Our thoughts. Because when focus is appropriated correctly, focus should have some jobs, and that's what we went over last time too. Focus should keep me from wasting my time and my energy on things that don't matter, things that are insignificant. Focus should fuel and power me to my desired end, what I really want to be, end up, have, the good that I really want to do and that I want to be and that I really want to have. My focus, or what I'm focused on, should fuel me to getting there. Focus, when it's appropriate, when it's where it should be, focus should guide my priorities. It should help predict my choices. When I'm focused, it should determine my decisions, what I'm focused on. All of these things help me to understand that when I'm focused on what I should be focused on, the difficulty in my decision making is eliminated. Everything ain't, because I'm focused, I'm locked in. Last time though, we looked at we started at 1 Timothy. Let's go to 1 Timothy 1:19. 1 Timothy 1:19. Now we also determined last time too that because spirits, holy and unholy spirit, the spirit world, communicates to man through their thoughts, suggestions, and ideas. That help us arrive at the conclusion, help us conclude that there was nothing in existence right now, nothing in this room, nothing in your home, nothing in your life that did not originate in the spirit world. Nothing, everything started there. If it's thoughts, suggestions, and ideas, that's how we're taught that the spirit world communicates. Timothy 1:19, let me get there, I'm sorry. I'm in Amplified. But right here is dealing with holding fast. I'm sorry. Oh yeah, ESV. I'm going to be reading too, back and forth from the English Standard Version and the Amplified. For those of you that it'll read different and you're somewhat concerned. But it's Timothy 1:19 says, holding faith and a good conscience. By rejecting holding on to the faith, and by rejecting a good conscience, some have made shipwreck of their faith. Some have made shipwreck of their faith. And Knowing that everything in existence, not just our life, everything in existence originated in the spirit world. That means the vehicle or the medium of exchange or the currency to get something from the spirit world to this world would be faith. And so we've already determined that there are only the two kingdoms. So of the one that we are now engrafted in and been made a part of is faith. But for the kingdom of darkness, or for how Satan's system operates, it is fueled and powered by fear. A different type of faith. Still expecting something. But it's a different type of faith. And so we spent most of our time dealing with the negative side. Because he didn't say fear. They turned their faith into fear. It said that they made their faith destructive. So faith, by design, will do what faith is supposed to do. It's a law, right? Just like the law of gravity. By design, the law of gravity does what it's supposed to do. Nobody has to explain it to you for it to work for you, right? Faith is the same way. So if we notice that it was rough for me. I'm gonna say that. I ain't gonna say it's rough for y'all, because y'all so sanctified, like I can see it. But it was rough for me because it helped me realize that everything in my life, I brought it forth. Even the bad that I didn't like. And if you can understand that the process by which you use to create the bad in your life, what you do not like, what you do not want, what you did not plan for, if you can control that process and figure out how you made it bad, you ought to be able to use the same process to now only make good. Like Brother Thompson say, everything clicking. Everything. In Ephesians 3:20, where we left off at last time was that another thing that's uniform to God's law is how your spirit works. Now, if these things are brought from the spirit world through faith, even the bad in my life, I had faith for that. And I used faith for that. And my spirit, by design, automatically does what God created it to do without anyone having explained it to me. Let's look at well, you know what? Let's look at the go to 1 Corinthians, I believe, 2:9. Let's look at the theme scriptures for this study. I didn't start with them because this is technically a continuation of the last hour. This is still focused. But 1 Corinthians 2:9. And I'm going to read for the sake of time. But as it is written, what no eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor the heart of man imagined, what God has prepared for those who love them. Same note, there is an adversary with things prepared for you. You have not seen or imagined those things as well. But faith will bring it from that world to this world. These things, verse 10, God has revealed to us through the Spirit, for the Spirit searches everything, even the depths of God. Now let's go to Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do far more and abundantly than all we ask or think, according to the power at work within us. Now what we're looking at is how by design your spirit does what God made it do. That's why you need him to give you a new one. Make mine new. And again, since it's thoughts, suggestions, and ideas that they will communicate to us, there's some effort on our part that some things we should be doing to change how we think, to change what suggestions and ideas appeal to us or attracts us. To change those things that capture our focus, that snatch our focus from us. Because what you focused on, that's what you bring to life. How many of y'all got into it with a coworker at work? We ain't got but 3 Christians that gonna keep it real, keep it 100. All right, for those of us that have gotten into a difference of opinion, if it was you knew all night and on your way to work, then when you see these folks, now the time frame is shorter, but it's the same process. Because on your way to work, you saw how this was finna go soon as you see these folks. And when you saw, it may not have gone word for word, but one thing that was the same was how you dealt with it emotionally. The chemicals released in your body just by how your brain worked, just by you doing this. And I mentioned it last time. It's a study dealing with epigenetics. It's supposed to be like a new way to address genetics. And your body responds to the environment or your blood. Whatever your brain releases in your blood, it changes the environment. And your body responds accordingly. So you may not have said that word for word, but emotionally and in your spirit, your thoughts and your attitudes, you were in the same place. Now, just like you see that process work on that side, that's how it should work towards your good. You should see it before it happens. You should be fixed on that vision. I don't care what nobody say. When I see them folk, nothing can sway you from what you see in your head. On the inside of your brain. That's how I talk to some people. On the inside of your brain, that's what you heard. Like me and Course can go eat, right? And I can say, you gonna eat all that? Right. She can choose to take that offensively inside her brain when I could have meant, I want some. Inside her brain, though, her reality, her world, I just messed up. Emotionally, she in the same place. I had no intentions on taking her there. She don't know who took her there. You don't realize who took you there. Look at now, with how your spirit is by design works, how it does what it does. That's how God originally intended for it to work. Because originally, God did not intend for you to know evil. Now, I gave you some definitions. Well, we really just read one definition for evil. And we really should have read all of them. And that's my bad. That ain't my bad. We ain't get to it. I'm sorry. I'm looking for it now. I apologize. Evil. And this is coming from Genesis 3. It was the Hebrew word ra. Now, usually when we reference Greek, or if you hear a speaker or a preacher reference Greek or Hebrew, it's because the original Old Testament was written in the Hebrew language. So I don't want to know what the translator thought. I don't want to know what the limited English language had. I want to know what God had in mind when he told this writer to pen this. Same for the Greek. So the Hebrew word was ra. I wish I could show this to y'all. Oh, here you go. Adversity. Y'all see sin up there? Y'all see fornication up there? No. Now, it's a result, though. That's a manifestation of an evil that has already been embraced. Adversity. affliction, calamity, displeasure, distress, grief, misery, injury, mischief, sorrow, trouble, wretchedness, evil favoredness. That just hit me. I guess I shouldn't like the bad guy in all the movies. Maybe that's what that means. I'm gonna have to look at that. Those are just some of the meanings, though. That when God said, I don't want you to know evil, he didn't want me to know that. So the way my body works, the way my spirit works, by design, what I'm fixed on, it make it happen. That's why I never was supposed to know that. I'm never supposed to consider that. So since there is no such thing as coincidence, and again, I say that because the word doesn't exist in Hebrew. So if the original language that God penned the Bible in, there was no such thing as the idea of coincidence. Everything is by design. You are here on purpose. Amen. You're getting this on purpose. Look at let's go back up to 1 Timothy, stay in chapter 1. Let's look at verse 5 though. And we're gonna dealing with this part of the thought as it relates to faith, we're gonna hang out here in 1 Timothy simply because this is where I first saw it. So it's nothing deep behind it. Verse 5. The aim of our charge is love. Now, Timothy is being encouraged, right, on how to deal with people that's teaching a false gospel. How to deal with those people teaching a false gospel. Can't really be a false, well, I ain't gonna say that. I'm not gonna jump the gun yet. But it says, the aim of our charge is love. So I'm charging you to remain true to the good news, to the gospel. I'm charging you to remain true to that gospel out of love and issues from a pure heart and a good conscience and a sincere faith. Now, before I read this, when I had read this, for about 2 years, when I looked at sincere, I was like, that means that that person is sincere. But when I looked the word up, sincere said unfeigned and unwavering faith. Unfeigned. You know what feigned means? Yeah, that's where I was too. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes you can look something up and be like, yeah, okay, I looked that up. But I still didn't know what feigned meant. Let's look at feigned. Feigned, well, because it says unfeigned, right? As a definition. Feigned was an adjective. Pretended, sham, counterfeit. Counterfeit faith. Feigned enthusiasm. Assumed. Assumed. How much assuming do we do? Fictitious, a feigned name, disguised or feigned. Now let's look at two feigned. Let's look at the word feigned, the verb. Feigned as a verb, to represent fictitiously, put on an appearance of. He's talking about faith though. Put on the appearance of. To invent fictitiously or deceptively as a story or an excuse. I got my faith out for it. To imitate deceptively. Now we're supposed to imitate our leader's faith. But I heard a pastor say that we have reduced ourselves to spiritual parakeets. And we just recall and repeat what we heard somebody say, and they felt it. And because they felt it, and emotionally they were able to connect with the feeling and mean what they were saying in their confession. It's a confession for them, You just sound like them. When dealing with your thoughts, that's why in 2 Corinthians 10:5 he says, capture every thought. Understood subject. You bring the thought. Bring the thought. Come here. Bring the thought under the subjection of Christ. What you know Christ to be. If you have limited knowledge on what Christ is to be, or who Christ is, or what was done for Christ, because you're Christ, you're the anointed, not Jesus. Under the subjection of Christ, not Jesus. We're Christ. And because we don't fully understand what that means, the evil one been coming. So I was asked, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want anybody to think that I'm singling them out. But how are we supposed to do that? This is how God made us. This is how God made us. So if God made us where our spirit will produce our experience. Now the things that you ask for, that's what you want to enhance your experience. But God is concerned about the human experience. Like I tell the young people, to make sure that what you asking for is not you asking amiss, because we don't know what that means. We just say, oh, okay. To make certain that you're not asking amiss, ask God for the feeling that you already have it. I got that idea. I was watching a movie. I used to have some habits, you know what I'm saying? So I watched a lot of movies. I was watching a movie, Devil's Advocate. And at the end of the movie, the devil was asking the guy, what you want? You want that feeling you get when you hit your first line of cocaine? You want that feeling you get when you go into a new girl bedroom? I couldn't relate to the cocaine. I could relate to the second one. I was like, dang, you can get that feeling, just get that feeling when you going in there. So whatever it is that you want, you can ask God for the feeling that you already have it. So if you really wanted that, so people can look at you and say, dang, look what he got. That's pride. God can't give you that. But if you really want that to meet a need of your family, God can have you rest assured that all your needs are met. He can give you the feeling that your needs are met. You can focus on your bank account. You can focus on the creditors. You can focus on the people calling you. God's promise, though, was that your needs are met. I didn't look at it that way until I saw, we did an exercise with the young people. And I had them pull chemicals out of a bucket and tell me give me the chemical, what it does in your body, and tell me what emotion releases that chemical. So you know when you don't even need to be, first of all, you don't even need to be arguing with your mama. And when you argue, when you're arguing, I'm sorry, I need to be marketable. When you're arguing, though, you're still releasing the same chemicals, they're still doing the same damage. Just like when you're happy, there are chemicals released that your body responds to. That's why he tells us that laughter, like a medicine. You don't need medicine. Medicine is so you can get what laughter is supposed to do. You can ask God for the feeling to make certain that what you say you need is not seated in your pride and you wanting people to think you are this or have this or are that person. Let's go to Hebrews 12. Now y'all put 40 minutes on that clock, right? Cause I was told I had an hour. I'm not gonna take an hour. I ain't gonna say God forgive me, because I usually take an hour. But you know when somebody hear an hour, mentally somebody else tell them, that's too long for you to be in church. But it's in first person, so you thought that was your idea. Let's go to Hebrews 12. Hebrews 12:2. For the sake of time, I'm going to read this. Looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Now let's look at it at the Amplified version. Let's look at the Amplified version of that. Looking away from all that will distract. Understood subject is you. Looking away from all that will distract to Jesus. You're looking to Jesus, who is the leader and the source of our faith, giving the first incentive for our belief. You should be able to believe what's yours based on that picture that you saw in him. He, for the joy of obtaining the prize. What prize? That we can live above this system. This system that's in place, to where something goes on in the environment, you respond then. Of obtaining the prize that was set before him, that helped him endure what he had to go through. His was the cross. Despising and ignoring the shame, and is now seated at the right hand of the throne of God. Now, it says for the joy though. Jesus used the joy set before him. Joy was the Greek word kara, and it means joy or the gladness. Let me say, it says joy. Gladness, the joy received from you. We have our joy and our gladness connected to a salary, a promotion, a position, someone else's own doing though. It's this older preacher I listened to, and he said, we want to change how our lives, the directions our lives are going from the outside. If those people weren't my boss, then I would do this. If my boss was like this, I would be able to do this. And he equates that to you trying to steer your car by getting outside it and turning the tires. Looks ridiculous. You have to change that from the inside. The joy that Jesus got, it said a joy received from you. The second one was the cause or occasion of joy of persons who are one's joy. For Jesus to be my perfect example. For Jesus to be my example. For God to say, God in man, I understand what you're going through. For Jesus to be my example and to show me how to live above it. He can't be any more than I am. That wouldn't be fair. Let's look at Luke 4. And this is a popular passage of scripture. All of us have gone through this. And I just recently took the young people through it. Luke 4. I love you too, man. Thank you, man. Luke 4. God, I got to do all of this in 10 minutes, man. All right, so here we go. And Jesus, full of the Holy Spirit, returned from the Jordan. What happened at the Jordan? That's where he was baptized. This is right after Jesus was baptized. In chapter 3, It deals, chapter 3, verse 21 is where it talks about Jesus being baptized. The rest of the chapter goes into the genealogy of Jesus, right? To justify him being who he was supposed to be. But first Jesus got baptized. First Jesus got saved. Because baptism is our outward expression of salvation. All right. He returned from the Jordan and was led by the Spirit in the wilderness for 40 days, being tempted by the devil. And he ate nothing during those days. Being tempted by the devil. And he ate nothing during those days. And when they had ended, he was hungry. He had not eaten in a month and a half. He was hungry. The devil said to him, if you're the Son of God, command this stone to become bread. And Jesus answered him and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. The first human emotion that we see here, for some of us, we thought it was hunger.
Stop it.
For Jesus to be my example, does anybody know of any other situation where Jesus was tempted aside from the cross? For Jesus to be my example, and for him to be no more than what I am. If the devil showed up and had a conversation with Jesus, every time I failed and he didn't show up and have a conversation with me, God, you can't count that against me. I didn't know that was the devil. Jesus knew him. But if he was just like me, like Scripture promised, this fight takes place in Jesus' head. How many of you have thoughts in third person? I ain't did that since college. Baby, come holler at Pimpin'. Baby, you trying to go eat with Pimpin'? You don't want to drink with Pimpin'? I used to refer to myself as Pimpin' in the third person. So, yeah, I just need a laugh. I just need a laugh. Come on, I get you to laugh, I got you. But for Jesus to be different, though, that's not fair. If the devil showed up to talk to him, that's not fair. Every time I fail, if the devil didn't show up. And the first question that was asked was, if you're the Son of God. Jesus had to deal with doubting who he was right after he got saved. Because you still feel the same. You still hungry. If Jesus was more than me, he shouldn't have been hungry then. All right. And Jesus answered him and said, it is written. This how I had to make the young people see this. I need somebody to blurt out the first cuss word that come to mind. All right, don't say that. Did you not just have a conversation in your head? I can't say that, but if I would, man, what's wrong with him? I can't say this. Like you have this in your brain, on the inside of your world. This real, on the inside of your brain, you had that conversation. I can't say whatever that cuss word was. Stop saying that cuss word because you keep saying it. 40 days and 40 nights I'm out here by myself and I still feel the same. Am I saved? I don't feel saved. Verse 5. And the devil took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. All the kingdoms of the world. This word kingdom was basilia. We talked about this a little last time. We didn't get to just break this down. This word is basilia, right? Authority, subject to rule. and said to him, now, for this to be our only account of Jesus being tempted, where is the devil standing? Because he's saying this stuff to him, right? Or is Jesus somewhat like me, to where he contends with thoughts of opposition or adverse thoughts? What evil really was, what God had in mind when he said, I ain't want you to know evil. Did Jesus have to deal with that? And does that make him the master? The master, the teacher, rabbi. Took him up and showed him in a moment's time, like right now, right this very second. I just went back to Uwedo Full Gospel. The church seat 990,000 members in Seoul, South Korea. I just went there. Went to the table where you get your tapes to get the service in your translation. I just went there in my mind. I can say, everybody, let's go get on the Zip and Pippin. How many of y'all went to the Zip and Pippin? And ain't there many old people in here that remember Liberty Land for real? The revolution for real? We can go there in a moment's time. Took him up and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time, and said to him, I will give you all this authority and their glory. Authority here deals with power of choice. You can manipulate this system to get them to use their power of choice for what you want. That would not be a temptation if there wasn't something that Jesus slick wanted. I don't know any young men that can tempt me. Ain't no man can come by and tempt me. A nice woman though. I'm like my dad with some big legs, a big butt. I'm like my dad. Who told me I was like that? You right. I'm not like that. I'm above that, baby. I will give you this authority and their glory, for it has been delivered to me. Because how God originally created man, that's how it was supposed to work. That you dictate environment and you dictate your power of choice. That's how originally he intended for man to operate. For it has been delivered to me, and I give it to whom I will. I don't like this example, but here go one. If you at a concert and they say, everybody put your hands up. Everybody finna put their hands up. I seen dudes stop though. I ain't gonna do that now. But in a moment's time, you dictate their power of choice. He said, I give it to who I will. Because it's been given to me. And Jesus said, Satan, you are a liar. Oh, yeah, what y'all version say? I give it to whom I will, if you then will worship me. Is this still Jesus and the devil having a conversation? Or is this still inside his brain? Worship me. I can walk on water. Jesus had to deal with opposition. Jesus had to deal with what we deal with. That's why to some holiness seems like it's zero tolerance. Because these your thoughts. They're real to you. That's why people feel like, man, I'm just going to do me. I do this part, I do that part. Y'all just trying to control people. That's why it seems like that to you. There are certain things about you that God gave you and put inside you. So you know that you're just like him. That's why you don't like to be lied to. That's why you don't want to be disrespected and cheated on. That's why you don't want to be swindled out of money. That's why you don't like to be manipulated. And Jesus answered him, it is written. You know what, let's look at this. Let's go back. Look at verse 4. It says, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone. That's cited from Deuteronomy 8:3. In this one in 8. It is written, you. Is he talking to the devil? You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. He had to deal with wanting to be self-serving, self-centered. That's cited from Deuteronomy 6:13. The 40 days and 40 nights. That's cited from it's Deuteronomy, I think. Deuteronomy 9:9. When Moses was up there and Moses got the commandments, got the law. You shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve. And he took him to Jerusalem and set him on a pinnacle of the temple and said, you can't be the Son of God. I can't be saved. I'm still feeling this. I'm saved. I am saved. I'm saved. If I throw myself out here, the angels got to catch me. But you know what? The Bible says you shall not put your Lord to the test. The word test was test because you don't believe, like to prove and to see, right? It speaks